Rap is out of control.
We're going to start right now because we got so much stuff to talk about. Paradise, jump on the mic, sir.
Yeah, what it do?
Yes.
What it does.
Thank you for coming up here.
Oh, my pleasure, my man.
Yeah.
Latin Quarter Crew forever.
No doubt. So what we're talking about right now, the club Latin Quarters that Paradise used to book all the hip-hop shows on the weekend. He just put a book out, No Half Stepping, and it is a crazy dope book. I've been talking about it up here. We actually were talking about it a lot the night that we had Shirt Kings up here because they got their book out as well. And the book is ill. It just, I wasn't around in New York during that time frame. So for me, I lived it from hearing the references on records and then to see the pictures and the stories go along with what you can only imagine for the greatest golden era within hip-hop music is just crazy. So how did you even get to putting this together?
Well, the book was like 7 years in the making.
Uh-huh.
Back in the day when I was at the Latin Quarter, I just carried a camera all the time.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what my mom did, and that's
Okay.
what my brother did. They were photographers, so
Right.
I kind of just inherited that, especially because I was in hip-hop, and then when I go back home to the hood, people ain't believe me. I'd be like, yo, last night I was in the studio with Full Force and James Brown, and people be like, yeah, right. And I'd be like, oh, really? Look at this picture.
Gotcha.
That's James Brown? Me? Bow-legged Lou?
Yeah, yeah.
What? You know what I'm saying? So, but I've always been collecting hip-hop memorabilia since I was a kid.
Right.
Because my brother collected stamps and coins, and
Right.
I couldn't get with that. Then he collected comic books.
Yeah.
And he was a comic book collector, and I was a comic book reader.
Right.
And that's like oil and water. That shit don't mix.
He's like,
And-
don't touch my books. Gotta keep
Exactly.
them shits pristine.
Exactly. Keep them in the plastic. I wasn't with that. So I found a new set of superheroes to
Right.
follow.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah.
Grand Wizard Theodore.
Uh-huh.
Grandmaster Flowers. So
Right.
I started collecting the flyers, and, I had all the ghetto superstars in my
Nice.
collection.
That's dope.
And I just kept it moving from there. Collected magazines
Right.
and posters
Yeah.
and tickets and whatever was
Yeah.
hip-hop, I saved it.
That's dope. That's so dope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people didn't bother to lock in, what was happening at that time. Everyone just kind of going with it. And so, definitely respect to brothers like you that actually was capturing all of this as it was happening.
And I got to give mad love and mad props to the Awesome Two, Special
Yes.
K and Teddy Ted.
No doubt.
And Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, DJ Raul, DJ Snoop, my man Bobby Simmons,
Right.
all my house DJs at Latin Quarter, and everybody that really made it happen.
Right.
I went to the Latin Quarter for the first time with the Awesome Two.
Because you was interning for them on the show, right?
I was answering the request line.
Gotcha.
And they got Celebrity Tuesdays at Latin Quarter, and
Right.
they asked me if I would come and be a celebrity judge.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, sure. And, I took my man, 15-year-old Big Daddy Kane, with me. Because Kane used to call the radio station every night.
Uh-huh.
And one night I said, man, why don't you come up here and answer the request lines with me?
Yeah.
So me and Kane was like tight like that.
Nice.
So when I did the book, I had to name it,
Ain't
No
No
Half
Half-Stepping,
Stepping,
yeah.
in reference to Kane, because in my opinion, Kane was the epitome of the kind of artist that came from the Latin Quarter. He
Right.
was the total package.
Right.
He danced. He had the fashion. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
had the lyrical content.
Yeah, yeah.
He had the beats.
Yeah.
He was the whole ball of wax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now, there's a debate now, or who was the best? Was it Big Daddy Kane or Rakim?
Right.
You can make that debate now.
Sure.
But in 1986, it was Big Daddy Kane all the way. Because Rakim could not compare or compete with him because of his stage
His
show.
stage show.
It
right.
was just off the hook bananas. Then you add Shantae and Bismarck coming
Rest
in
of
and
the
out
crew,
of
yeah.
Kane's show.
Yeah.
It was too much to mess with.
Right. Yeah, and and it's not even an opinion because you were there at the quarter, so it's like you got to see the reaction from people. So
Exactly. I mean, nothing like seeing, Ultramagnetic or Stetsasonic or EPMD.
Yeah.
EPMD music come on in Latin Quarters, the bass would hurt you. Man. It was like their music was like made for
Yeah.
that system. And we really remade dance music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And EPMD was extremely important to that because their video was one of the first ones to come out with the dancers from the Latin Quarters. So it was like basically like a how to do hip hop
Right.
tutorial, just
Right.
watching the EPMD video.
right.
I looked at all of those photos in there,
It's ill.
and those are real pictures.
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
you
Yeah.
see people in their element when they was like 18.
Yes, sir.
KRS-One when he was 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Rakim when he was 19.
Yeah.
You know,
Justice,
just everybody,
Just
yo,
Ice.
Just Ice, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
everybody who had
Yes.
to come through, anybody who was somebody had to come through the Latin quarters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where Eric and I would meet DJ Red Alert
Word.
when he was on 98.7.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so we would show up with the Zulu picture from when they used to come out Long Island, do the block party.
Yeah.
Yo, Red would be there, and then from there, boom, it's my thing. Brought in the choppers, and that's where we got it from.
Right.
You know, when they used to be at the T Connection, the Bronx River.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we used to wait for my older brother
Yeah,
to come home at
no
night.
doubt.
They'd have the tapes, Chiba come to the front, and every time that happened, they would throw on 7 minutes of funk.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the Chiba came to the front, the MC, yo, check Mike, yo. So then, boom, that's how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sir.
It's just
my
straight
thing.
hip hop break beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Sir.
can't be
That's it.
scared to go back to the,
That's it.
break beats.
That's it. Now,
The
now,
essence.
now, during the time of Latin Quarters, were you able to make your way over
I
there?
was too young.
Yeah.
Well, I was just. I ain't that much younger than these dudes. So, but like I said, probably a few years later, I was going out.
Yeah.
But they was my blueprint. I had to stay home if I really wanted to take it serious. I had to stay home and study. You know what was before me.
Right.
And they, like I said, we not too much, it ain't no age gap. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
We
I got to
just-
stop Oda
Yeah.
because, yo, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
You know,
Yeah.
it's one thing to put the work in, but again, that's what hip hop was about.
Yes.
When you hear Boogie Down Production, when you hear Rakim, I Came Through the Door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear all of those songs,
Yeah.
you knew
Yeah.
exactly how you had to get that world premiere. From
And
Magic.
It wasn't just that. It was the elements of seeing pictures that we were blessed to see with Paradise and them in the Latin quarters and these other spots.
Yeah.
Dressed up, the whole, the gear,
Yeah.
the movement, everything.
Yeah, the
So
gear.
I witnessed everything and I had to study from it.
Yep. Like, that's why Delancey Street was important.
Ooh,
Jamaica
Delancey.
Ave was
Yeah.
important.
Juban.
And
Yeah.
you also, and it's what really sticks out is the B-girls in the book.
Yes, sir.
Like, it's one thing for a dude to be
Right.
like super hip hop, but just to see
Yeah.
like
They
Pepper,
was rocking right
you
with
see
us.
Pepper, she was
Yeah.
like, yo,
Yep.
it's like, wow, this is what it's
Yep.
about.
Sweet
But
Tea and
OC,
Jazzy Joyce.
What's his face
Yeah.
said you shot that kid? That's a lie.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, what's his face?
Yeah. Because it pertained to a lot of people, man. It started early,
That's
man.
a lie.
Yeah. Dudes was lying early on, but,
Yo,
Yes, sir.
there's
Yes,
a lot
sir.
going on in that song right there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
got to be aside from just the classicness of the song itself, it has to be top 5 most
Wow.
DJ'd as far as taking lines
Yes.
and using them in other songs. It has to be like top 5. Like there's so many quotes out of that record that's been used.
Crazy.
OC, PMD, Paradise. The book from Paradise, No Half Stepping about the Latin Quarters is out there and available right now. Do you have a preferred place people go to buy the book? Do you have your own website?
You can get it at waxpoetics.com.
Okay.
You can get it at amazon.com. You can get it at Borders.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
we going digital with it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Nice.
Print on demand, baby.
No
Nothing in the
doubt.
warehouse.
That's it.
Right, now I hear
That's
you.
it.
Keep it
Yeah.
on the move.
Nice.
Yo, and back to the Latin. Yo, Latin
Oh, we ain't
Quarters,
leaving
man.
it.
Yo, listen. Latin Quarters was so serious, man, that when you heard about it before you went there, I'm just telling you my experience with EPMD. Like, we went and did the show and didn't even see the show because you just had to be in tune to so much stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't cordless mics yet.
Right.
So
That's
me
right.
and Eric walked in there with the Lee Cox Martif with the C on, and before you know it, the show was over. But the whole point between the breakdancing, between the hood being there, between the music, P was there
Yeah.
all the time. You'd be like, all right, Paradise Show. Yo, okay, cool. And then you rock the show.
Yeah.
But just because of the street element
Yeah.
and just because you had to get an A+ on that mic,
Yeah.
if there was
Word.
any type of problem, you would know about it early.
No doubt. We're
Quickly.
gonna talk about who made it, who didn't. So Paradise, let's real quick. Let's just move away from Latin Quarters for a minute. And at what point did you transition into the group thing with X Clan?
When the
There you
Latin Quarter closed, we had to do something. You know what I'm saying? Stuff was getting rough in the streets. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
had the Black Watch movement popping off.
Right.
And, we wanted to address what was going on in the streets and, do something unapologetically black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was time for the Black Boot Stomp. Like now we got President Orange Crush in the house, I call him PG 45. You know what PG stand for? Not Paradise Gray. It stand for, can I say it?
Go ahead.
It's pussy grab of 45. You know what I'm saying? So now it's time for the new wave of X-Clan. You know,
There
Brother
you go.
Jay still smashing.
Still
He got
nice.
a new joint coming out soon.
Nice.
So, you know, the Unapologetically Black is back, baby.
Word up.
You know, X-Clan all day. Rest
Nice.
in peace, Sugar Shaft and
Yep.
Professor X.
No doubt.
And all the soldiers from the Black Watch movement. Don't wait for us to reenact you. Wake up.
Right.
Step up. Stand up.
Yeah, and you also, aside from that, I mean, I follow you on Twitter now, and
Yes,
I
sir.
see you're very active in general. You know,
Yeah,
like you
and
said, you
right
don't wait
now I
on
got
something.
my man Jasiri X popping off.
No doubt.
My man Adasa Tariq and all my One Hood peoples.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Black Rap Medusa. You know, we got a whole crew of young heat coming at you.
Right.
You know, we never sleep. That's
Sure.
how it goes. You know, hip hop is forever.
No doubt.
And to all my classic artists out there, man, don't wait for Daddy to give you a deal. I want to hear Melly Mel.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I'm saying? I want to hear the Fearless Four. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I want to hear Grandmaster
Oh.
Kaz. You know what I'm saying?
I got
We
a new
need to
peso joint I gotta play.
awaken and make music with everybody. Keep it up.
That's
Keep
right.
it going.
That's
Ain't
right.
about what we did. What do you do?
There you go. There
Exactly.
you go. No doubt. And so now to jump back to Latin Quarters, as you just mentioned, you got to do something when it closed. What was the actual years that you were there?
It was so short, but it seemed like it was so long.
Right.
We really took over the club as a full-fledged hip-hop club from 86 to 88.
Wow. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. All these clubs, I think Union Square was even less than that.
Yeah, it was because Union Square, they popped up like 3 months after we was doing Latin Quarters.
Okay.
And like halfway through, they shut down.
Right.
That's how I was able to steal Red Alert. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Union Square. Thank you, 50 Cent and your knucklehead Brooklyn Zoo cats
Stick up kids.
for taking out my competition.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know,
But yeah,
and blah, blah, KRS-One for that name of this routine. It's called Live at Union Square crap.
But that's how it is. It's like when those clubs were mentioned on record, you didn't know if they were, it sounded like they were there forever. Same thing with the old radio shows,
Yeah.
like, In Control and all that stuff. Those
Yes.
shows were only on for like a couple of years, but it
Absolutely.
felt like it was forever. just
And,
because
and
it was
the
that era.
artists that we were able to incubate at the Latin Quarter in
Right.
that short period of time,
Yeah.
it speaks for itself. EPMD,
Right.
Third Base, X-Clan, Public Enemy, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. and Rakim,
Yeah.
Heavy D and the Boys, Salt and Pepper Kid and Play,
The whole
MC
movement.
Light,
The
Milky
whole
Kids,
movement.
That's a
Yeah.
Sonic,
Yeah.
Ultramagnetic, Bismarck.
crazy.
Shantae, Coogee Rap, and
All
Polo.
right. Let's save some for
come on now.
Let them buy the book.
Yeah.
Let them buy the
Crazy.
book.
And I could keep going. I
crazy.
could
I
keep
know.
going for 5
Yeah,
minutes.
the
and I
pictures are
won't name
different
everybody.
because it's not like
Yeah.
the photos in the books aren't like people posing in the pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just there was a photographer
Exactly.
always on
Yeah.
hand capturing the
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what
when
I
you
love
see
about it.
Just
That it
Ice,
wasn't that the pretty
you know?
right on
Exactly.
magazine, Rap Masters, studio shots with the great lighting. None of
Right.
that. This was raw,
Yeah.
Just
in your
straight raw.
face.
Yeah.
Latin Quarter.
Just
That's what
hip-hop.
Latin Quarter
Mike
was.
Tyson,
No doubt.
you
And-
see
and-
Just Ice, everybody.
Yeah. Speaking of the magazines, you was also an early contributor.
Absolutely.
To all
I
these magazines.
I'll take the credit for it. I am
Tell
the
'em.
pioneering hip hop writer. I was the first hip hop writer that
Bomb.
was hip hop, and that's all I wrote about. From the hip hop hit list to Lady B's hip hop magazine, to Rap Masters
Bomb.
and Right On magazine.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Bill Adler from Rush for
Oh,
telling
big
me
shout out to
Paradise. Like, why don't you write, man? You got all these incredible stories. You need to write this stuff.
Yeah.
People need to know your experiences.
Yeah.
So I thank Bill Adler for that.
Yo,
Heidi
true
Smith,
hip hop.
love you all
Heidi,
day.
Big shout out to
Yeah,
Heidi.
no doubt.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely. These were people who was highly instrumental
Yes.
in hip hop going to the next level.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
he's on Elizabeth. He's talking Elizabeth.
I remember
now.
Elizabeth
That's
Street.
before
Exactly.
Barrick.
Yeah. It was that's when I first started working with Search.
I remember that.
Yeah,
street.
that was going over there
But
to
even
Rush
before
RPM.
we was on Elizabeth, we started out at 1133 Broadway.
Okay, that one I don't know.
26th Street.
That one predates.
You know, it was dope, man.
That was
I'm
before.
like the
That was
hip-hop
before
Forrest
'87,
Gump.
then, right?
You know
I
what
still
I'm
was
saying?
in
Here I
school.
am. I quit hip hop. I'm going to work every day at a computer company with a briefcase, Brooks Brothers suit on, with the coat. And I'm in the elevator coming from lunch one day. I look at the guy standing next to me in the elevator. I was like, "Excuse me, are you Curtis Blow?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What are you doing in this building?" He's like, "Oh, my manager Russell just opened an office here."
Wow.
And about 3 days
Couldn't
later,
get away from it, right?
I heard these young boys in a arguing in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
I went downstairs and looked, and they wasn't arguing. It was Run and LL in each other's face, both rapping at the same time. I was like, man, if y'all don't get out this hallway with all this noise, and they ran.
Wow.
LL was like 15, showing up at Russell's office every day, rhyming until they kicked him out.
That's it.
And Heidi would call me,
Hunger.
Paradise, please come get LL.
Paradise. What records were when you was up answering the phones up there at the station? What was some of like the big artists or records that during that time?
Oh, the Awesome 2 didn't really play that. They were the anti-radio. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying for them, for what they was playing. What was like the?
Well, they played underground stuff. If you had a grimy, dusty tape, the Awesome 2 would play it.
Yeah.
And you had to tune in on the radio dial to like get them, like to get their station to come in, because we was out there in Long Island.
Yeah, but they broke a lot of
Sure.
artists though. They were like, early on with, cats like Super Lover C.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No
Cats
doubt.
that, really didn't blow outside of the quarters. But you had
Right.
people who were superstars
In
just
the
in
quarters,
Latin
yeah.
quarters.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure Duda
Like,
James
you couldn't
was
tell
like,
Just Ice nothing. You know what I'm
I
saying?
still can't.
Well, you didn't want to tell him nothing anyway because you might get an uppercut. But
Shout out to Just.
Just Ice was the truth.
yeah, crazy. I remember that
And
Just
still is.
Ice was in jail when LaToya came out.
Right.
Yo.
And there was a fake Just Ice coming to the club
Yeah.
begging me to do a show.
Oh no, get out of here.
I introduced him to the real Just Ice when he got out of jail and watched him beat the shit out the dude right in my office.
Wow, that's
You
crazy.
Just Ice, who am I?
Yo, you see how this goes? That's how we ended up on Sleeping Bag Records, because I was a DJ for my brother, Smitty
Right.
D and the Rock Squad. Okay, so when I was DJing, the hot record at the time was LaToya. Before anything. So
Yeah.
when E would be in school,
Yeah.
I'd be at home in the crates writing down the record company.
Right.
And the hottest record at the time was LaToya. That's how I got the address to Sleeping Bag Records, cause of Just Ice.
Nice. See that?
That's crazy. I
Word
mean,
up.
yeah, P.
That's dope.
Just Ice is responsible for all the record labels getting security.
Yeah,
Because
and
most
yo,
Just
it's
Ice
crazy because
rolled
me
up
and
in
him
the
got
record
along.
company.
I mean, me and Just got along.
Yo, I need some money, man. Give me a check.
That's
They're
it.
like, but we don't owe you any money. Did you not understand that I need some money and you need to write me a check?
And in the late '80s, he was one of the few rocking gold fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
We
the
had to
first
go-
one that had the whole
Yeah, I didn't want to
Yeah.
go
I
there
ever
though, but
seen.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
but shout out to
Style.
Just Ice for sure though.
Justice.
No doubt.
the
He
original
didn't get along
hip-hop
with everybody.
gangster.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
if he
it.
didn't like you, you knew about
Exactly.
Oh, for real.
And same to this day. I'd asked you
Yes,
before
sir.
about artists that made it or didn't make it in the LQ. So, what was some memorable moments of some that didn't make it on stage there?
Oh, it was too many to name, man. I mean, well, you know what? Most of the guys that didn't make it, they wound up coming back and making it.
Okay.
Like King's Son got booed his first time.
All right.
He did this diss song to LL.
Uh-huh.
And I stood up and had a big old Def Jam purple jacket on and shit. You know, MC Hammer, he came to the Latin
Wow.
Quarter. He was the Holy Ghost boy. You know, he talked his way on stage and got booed, and he came back. You know what I'm saying? Hard. You know, with Turn This Mother Out. Man, too many people got booed up there, man. You know, Chuck D got haggled and harassed by Melly Mel his first show with Public Enemy. You know, that didn't go well, and he came back as you get up and dance at the LQ.
Oh,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? So it's a lot of Kid and Play got booed their first time on the stage. They wasn't even Kid and Play yet. They was the Fresh Force, Kid Cool Out and Playboy. But they came back hard too. Schoolie D got booed. He came back with PSK.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So getting booed at the Latin Quarter wasn't like getting booed at the, like the Sandman ain't come out and get
right
you
at
like
the
the
Apollo.
Apollo.
He swept up
You know
right
what I'm
quick. Once the
saying?
broom
You
came
get
up,
booed
it
at
was
the
a wrap.
Apollo, you over.
It was a
You could
wrap.
get. Some people did get deaded at the Latin Quarter, but it's like this. If you got booed to the point that your career got ended, who knows your name? Nobody remembers you.
Right. No doubt.